You know, when I play Smash Brothers, I usually play on quick play, and I find myself getting not annoyed. Well, I get pretty frustrated very easily. But the one thing I do find myself doing is just lamenting and being aggravated at myself, being like, oh man, why didn't I, do X, Y, or Z? It's like, it doesn't really matter. The only really thing that matters is if you're. It doesn't, like, the thing with fighting games is that you're not. Nothing is incorrect. Nothing is incorrect, right? You can go up and you can forward smash, and that would be considered neutral. But in reality, if you're the only way it's considered like if it matters is if you're like doing competitive tournaments. And when you have that competitive mindset, what it does is make you feel like you know, you're not practicing enough, you're not doing things enough, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, you're not doing double jump cancels there, you're not doing, fall fairs or, blah blah blah, and you try to implement that. But in reality, all we really need to do is just have fun. You can apply those things. You can study those things, right? But the main thing is to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then don't play the game. For me, it's kind of it's that exactly, right? So when I play a match, I think, okay, so is this person going to understand what I'm going to do? Are they going to pick a DLC character like right now? Are they just gonna play and then leave, or go in and then leave, or things like that? And then if they do, it's like, okay, well, you automatically win because you win that kind of, I guess, mentality match in a way. But essentially, what I'm trying to say is, don't let mentality and competitiveness and blah blah. Don't let that affect how you play. Don't let it affect you. It's easier said than done, of course. This is just something I'm passionate about, I guess. Because if you let yourself complain and you're just like, oh, they're playing the character wrong, or you're not supposed to use up smash out of shield, or don't let that deter you from playing how you want to play. And I'm actually a person who used to say that a lot. I still do sometimes, honestly, but that's besides the point. The point of the fact of the matter is that you're having fun, you're playing how you want to play, and even if it's the wrong way to play a character, you should still play the character because you enjoy playing them. Like if you want to use like a million mix-ups, then sure, do it. If you want to focus on combos with your character, then do it. But just understand that if you're going to focus on one thing, then focus on other things as well. For example, if you want to play Pokemon Trainer, right? That's three different characters that you would have to understand. So instead of doing them all at once, you would do them one at a time. And in this case, it's kind of similar. Just one character is the same thing. You have to study that character. You have to look at how pro players play them, and just know that if you try and try and try and your strategy doesn't work, make a new strategy. And if you let yourself go down and feel like you're discouraged, then don't. It happens to everyone, honestly. So another thing I've really noticed, this is just me spurting out nonsense. I just realized this, but this is just me spurting out like fighting game advice. Even though I've played this for a few years and never won a single tournament, but you can't let that stuff deter you, I guess. Like, if you want to play a low tier character because you like the character or because you want to prove a point, go for it. That's honestly, you should go for it. I'm not gonna detest you, or no one's gonna make fun of you for doing. Well, there are some people who will do that, but that's mostly just people who take fighting games way too seriously. I mean, I'm one of those people, but I kind of realized that giving my thoughts after a match, or just recording my thoughts or getting my thoughts out there, it actually kind of helps, honestly. But aside from that, Smash is just something I love and hate. I love it because it gives me a challenge each time, right? So when I'm playing like something like ultimate, or when I try to play quick play, there's no challenge to it sometimes. There's just people who play characters for the sake of playing characters because they have gimmicks. Like Min Min, for example. Min Min has a lot of range, but once she has no range, she honestly becomes a really easy character to try to play against, because you can essentially get over their mental game, I believe. I think it is, or just their frames, or however you want to say it. If you are a Pikachu player and you play Campy, do it. You know, let that be what you want to do. But you can't just keep on thunder jolting over and over and over again, because it's just people are going to read, people are going to download it, and they're going to understand it a little bit better. Better and better each time. For me, an example of that, I guess, is jumping out of shield and using Nair. I do that constantly with Lucas, and it's just something that I just have a habit of doing, and no one has ever picked up on it. And then when it is picked up on it, I kind of shut down mentally. Like, oh man, he figured out my whole game plan, I don't know what to do. And then I just kind of go for it. I just play how I want to play. If I can land fairs or F tilts or however, if I want to do jab, if I want to do D tilts, then yeah, sure, I'll do that. But even then, it's like, I sometimes play Joker, I sometimes play Lucario, and I sometimes play Lucas. But something about Lucas, I've always said this about all the characters that I play, but something about X character this time of the week, it's Lucas, right? So something about Lucas just feels right, because I don't know. I suppose he just feels right because I've played him for so long. I've played him for like a few years, right? So that kind of feeling of this feels good, I feel like I'm winning because I earned it, or because I've been working really hard. It's just one of those things that if you can understand how a character works, like if you know how Joker works, like look at MK Leo. He was winning a lot of things, and then the meta adapted to itself, right? If you're willing to put in the work for characters, like sometimes for Ness or Yoshi or, Mario or Luigi or really any character, if you're willing to put in the work and put in the hours and practice, whether it's visually practicing or playing against other players, or even looking at your own VODs, which I don't do because I don't know. I don't like it's a lot of, I could say a lot of things. I could say that, it's embarrassing to look at my losses. It's, I haven't looked at my VODs for a very long time, and I just don't have room in my VOD list. I could say a number of excuses, but in all honesty, I just don't do it because I'm not a visual learner. I just look at it. I look at it as another loss, and then I just negatively think about things, Like you can think of for example, Sora. Sora is a balanced character, but at the same time, he has some gimmicky crap that can make you really upset. Pyra and Mithra, they're very light characters, but when they were released, they had the most ridiculous amount of people playing them using Fontaine Edge or, Up B, because Up B can kill at low percents at like 70% on a medium-sized character. A number of things, I don't know. There's just a lot of, like, for Bowser, I've noticed that side B is a habit that people use, and it's because it's so good, Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. But when it comes to Lucas, I feel like, for me, I use PK Fire to force an option, like whether they jump, whether they are on a platform, whatever. I use it as a way to understand what my opponent is going to do, what their habits are going to be, and how I can react. Instead of proacting, I react, and that's kind of a bad habit to have, because you should have both, and you should also implement, mini spacing. I don't even know about mini spacing very much, because it's just something, I'm not competitive, I'm not, at a high level, so it just makes it difficult to really learn those things. Like, when I first learned double jump cancels air, and I kept on doing it over and over again, and then I just became natural at it, I felt so proud of myself because I put in the work. And some people just don't have that time to put in the work, or they live in an area that doesn't have a scene, you know? I don't know. When it comes to like skill, you shouldn't really, say, oh man, this guy doesn't have any skill, he's using the same movement over and over. It's like, well, you can't really overthink it either. You have to understand, sometimes people play how they want to play, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. This is just a small rant coming from a Smash player who's been playing for a few years, but I don't know. I just wanted to talk about something, and I guess this is what I wanted to talk about. So, I guess an example of this is this. Like if yeah, an example of is this. If someone is like teabagging you, it's or taunting consistently, like over a whole time of a match, don't let it affect you. I know that's easier said than done. I mean, I've had that happen before where someone's been teabagging me and I'm just like, F you, man. F your effing bullcrap, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I always feel bad when that happens to anyone. See what I mean? I mean, you could say, yeah, I'm documenting it, bitch. What now? It's like, but it's not gonna stop their behavior. They're still gonna do it. So it's just better to accept, hey, it's gonna happen sometimes. Sometimes you're gonna feel frustrated, and just accept it. And again, that's easier said than done. You could, report them. You could do anything, but it's not really gonna stop them from doing their behavior. I don't know, man. At this point, it's like when you're first playing, it's fun, and then you see this behavior all the time on the internet, and you're just like, okay, this is getting old. This is getting old. This is getting old. And then you're just like, and then you just go forward and be like, oh man, why are they acting like this? And then you just don't care, and you're just like, okay, well, this is happening. I'm not gonna. They're not playing seriously, so why should I? And then you kind of realize, like, it doesn't matter in the end. You should just have fun. And if this person is teabagging, and if he's taunting, and if he wants to, do that consistently as a thing, as a strategy, let him. It's not gonna matter because it's not like it's in a tournament. If it was in a tournament and he was being disrespectful in that way, yeah, I can understand that 100%. I don't know. I don't know. This is just something I wanted to rant about. I guess it became a video. I don't know. But yeah, so basically the gist of my advice here is that if people are acting a certain way or if they're being negative, and this includes me, if they're like teabagging or taunting or something, they could be doing it because they're having fun and they want to show in something in that regard. I don't know. This is just me spreading my thoughts, so. One last thing I just realized is that while I was editing the video, I actually gave out super good advice. And another thing I kind of realized is, like, people don't really, like, stop and think in a game, right? They think of, when you think of stage awareness and when you think of, when you're in neutral, right? And you're facing off against someone, what is the first thing you think about? The move that you're going to attack with. Well, while you can win advantage state, or you can be in neutral still, or if you go into disadvantage, I don't really see anyone stopping and actually thinking about what they want to do when it comes to how they're going to win. What is their win condition? What is their, main set of combos? How can I, use a smash attack effectively? It's kind of like this Lucina, right? Where you can use Dolphin Slash. You can use Up Special, right? But how are you going to implement that into your specific game plan? What is your win condition? And I think for me, for Lucas, it's to get them off the stage, and then using PK Thunder to get the PK Thunder and trying to direct them away from the stage so that they're not able to recover. When it comes to recovering with Lucas, it's understanding it's understanding how his snake can be used to recover. It's using PK Thunder 2 or PK Rocket or PK Thunder 2 in a effective way, being able to bonk off the stage and being able to recover in that way, being able to mix up and understand how his mix-ups work, things like that. I don't know. This is just a random video I wanted to make about my thoughts, so it's not anything too... I'm not really worried about it being like a super professional video or anything. And thus, the problem that I have with myself is that I kind of stop in that moment. I stop and I think. And, I think for me anyway, it's like, okay, well, if you're fighting against a really good player, they kind of have the neutral, advantage, disadvantage, edge guarding, ledge trapping stages. They have those understood. They understand their character. They identify what the good and the bad are of the character and how they can use the goods to their advantage. For me, honestly, I kind of jump from character to character, so I'm still learning, and everyone still learns, of course, but still, I don't know. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, when you're in the moment, you don't really think about it, but then when you're, like, after the match, you, like, get angry at yourself, and you're like, oh, man, I should have done this, I should have done that. It's like, well, no, you have to understand, right, that things happen for a reason. If they're coming out with hitboxes again and again and again and again and again and again, there is a counter to that. It's just understanding how that counter fits with your character, and thinking about all the things as it gets really overwhelming, and then sometimes bam, it just happens and you lose and you feel frustrated. Yeah, I don't know. I randomly thought, I wonder if getting my thoughts out about how I feel about Smashes will be a good video, and then I just talked about it for a while, and then I realized that I really do have a passion for it. It's just understanding how it works is what I have trouble with. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this long rant. Apologies for the long ass rant. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.